This is me on an adventure, not just any adventure, but a Disney cruise adventure where magic meets the sea. I'm here with a gang on a mission to take you along for a culinary journey. You will get to see firsthand what the food is like throughout our maiden voyage, from off-the-menu Mickey ice cream popsicles, filet mignons, to shish kebabs. What makes this Disney cruise in Singapore special is it's the first of its kind in Southeast Asia, with a very unique cruise to nowhere destination. Woohoo! Middle of nowhere. With you now up to speed on how special this journey is, let's get into the meat and potatoes. The first night is at Animator's table, and according to the crew, this is one of the better rotational dining spots in terms of food and experience. We're definitely starting on a high note. The walls are adorned with all sorts of animation sketches slowly coming to life, and while I pondered over them and turned my attention to this sophisticated menu, I realized this place is too fancy for my Bermudas. That makes me a fish out of water. But I'm hungry, let's eat. We start right out of the gate with appetizers. Rice is too mushy, but the tuna's flavor complements the unagi very well. Good balance. Avocado is the cherry on top. Chicken is juicy, fragrance from the coconut rice gives a good kick. Peanut sauce is definitely a plus. Overall, it's good, but not great. Moving on to the mains. The only complaint I have here is the rice is too dried up. Everything else, from the bouncy seared scallops to the truffle cream, is all Gucci. This dish blew my mind, with it looking like a regular stew with a couple of plop fish slices. The branzino was very well done. The fillet was fluffy and soft, even with the skin intact, it had none of the fishy smell. I highly recommend it. I got this at medium rare. For some reason, it lacked the stovetop crust I was expecting, making it very tender. Too tender for my taste, but a steak's a steak. Can't complain about that. And now onto desserts. The crisps adds a unique texture to the cheesecake experience. The caramel flavor is strong. If caramel is your thing, this is for you. The contrast of the bitter chocolate and sweet truffle strikes a good balance, with the cake perfectly in between. This one's a secret, an open secret. Ice cream bar with Mickey's face on it makes something ordinary extraordinary. Once you have it on the table, every other table wants to have one. If you're looking for a safe bet to end your meal on a good note, nothing can go wrong with a good old sundae. I'm not a big fan of mousse. It's like chocolate styrofoam, but paired with raspberry puree, it resets taste buds for more chocolate styrofoam. I guess the raspberry fixed it for me. The closest you can get to an apple crumble, except it's pear, and at room temperature, with matcha flavored soil on the side. The soil's good, by the way. And that's about wraps up the entire course. As a bonus, you get to design your own character that comes to life, dancing side by side with timeless classics such as Genie from the Aladdin. As we end the night for tomorrow, we say our goodbyes and goodnights to our welcoming crew. It was definitely an experience. Day 2 begins with waking up to Iron Man's motorcycle test, and the gang is in the mood for some Mediterranean food. We found Cosmic Kebabs, a Marvel-themed superhero kebab shop that's out of this world. From your favorite superheroes that can fly and those that can't, to amazing beef koftas, shish kebabs, and a wide spread of Mediterranean dishes. This is one of the quick service restos in the cruise. Think of Panda Express, but Greek, and it's also in outer space. I'm hungry, let's eat. Starting off on an amazing pita wrap. The pita here is done so well that being authentically Mediterranean became secondary. It's that good. For all the vegetarian freaks out there, the falafel crumbles the way it should be. The rice fits the turmeric cumin profile, but it's a bit on the dry side. The kebab is perfectly roasted. Nothing beats a juicy bell pepper. And don't forget about the hummus and Greek yogurt. You don't want to miss them. Beef kofta and spice sausage is spot on. If they had blood sausages, that would have been perfect. We saved tabbouleh for last as a means to cleanse our palates from all the chickpeas and heavy sauces. The cooling mint and zesty citrus is a great way to cap things off. After a heavy brunch and almost suffering from a food coma while drenched in meat sweats, we're definitely in need of a good sugary treat, and Ursula with her boba is here to save the day. This is Bewitching Boba and Brews. It's the Little Mermaid themed premium bubble tea shop that requires additional purchase. You won't find Ariel or Sebastian here. The spotlight is on Ursula and her Bobas, and that is what brings all the boys to the yard. Her magic smoothie is better than yours. I'm thirsty. Let me take the drink for a spin. With all the fancy schmancy ingredients, this drink is basically a blueberry yogurt, but the uniqueness comes from its boba oats. That flavor splash of oats perfectly contrasts the citrusy sweetness. If this weren't a premium, every stateroom would be drowning in boba, and I would be chugging this non-stop until magic smoothie is all that runs through my veins. With all that said, we fulfilled our need for a sugary treat. It's definitely worth swinging by. You get what you pay for. Time seems to move very fast when you're eating throughout the day, and as we approach our second night's rotational dining, the entire gang still has room for more food. Our second night will be at Enchanted Summer. We're at the Olaf wing, which is Frozen themed. Unfortunately, the dining hall looks lackluster. There's not much thematic decorations all around. I'm just hoping the food makes up for it. I'm hungry. Let's dig in. We begin with the small plates. The soup is pretty much diluted, not as hot and not as sour as it should be. I guess it makes sense to cater to a wider taste palette. The first good small plate. The wrap is refreshing. It's like a burrito but zesty instead of the heavy sauces. I prefer my cold cuts on the colder side. Room temp is fine, just has a stronger smell. This is the best small plate amongst all the small plates in my opinion. They got every aspect of what makes an onion soup French. From the crusting of the cheese to the soft savory caramelized onion submerged crouton, they got the taste spot on. The chef deserves a medal on this one. And now moving on to the entrees. Starting off with a bit of a downer, what you would expect from a tonkatsu would be a creamy rich broth from dissolved marrow and sinew. This is a clear soup. Together with the yellow noodles, it tastes like wonton soup from an earlier breakfast serving. It's tasty, but definitely not tonkatsu. Bamboozled. A well-prepared chicken stew. If you've heard about butter chicken, this is the nuttier counterpart. Pairing the stew with the flatbread makes it even tastier. Your average tomato-based pasta. The garlic bread is good though. The salmon is prepared well, juicy with none of the fishy smell. The sides are the same as what you get on a plate of steak. Speaking of steak, we have a medium rare prime rib. As usual, it did not have the stovetop crust that I was looking for, but the tenderness makes up for all of it. Your everyday run-of-the-mill salad. Although there's a wide array of different ingredients on this plate, they function on an individual level on taste. It's not infused in any way, which makes it just another salad. And for the last part, desserts. One thing that makes me sleep is bread pudding. As heavy and as thick as a pound cake, the toppings are what makes it good, because bread pudding is just bread pudding. This tart is on the fruity, zesty taste spectrum. The minty basil ganache is well balanced with the lemon curd. The dash of fruits is icing on top. I find this to be very similar to a dismantled cupcake. The guava gel and cream does not really mash well together in terms of taste, and the cake is a little bit dry. I want to be a kid again, so I got a kid's strawberry cheesecake, and to my surprise, I've never seen a translucent cheesecake before, and it tasted nothing like cheesecake. It tasted like Jell-O, but I'd give the presentation a 10 out of 10. And that's a wrap for our second night's rotational dining. It's definitely not as spectacular as the first, but I gotta temper my expectations. As the crew split up after dinner, I stumbled upon this bronze sculpture, thinking this must be Tik-Tok the crocodile, and then I realized this is an alligator, and I remembered Disney has a fairly new contemporary IP, The Princess and the Frog, and this is what led me to Tiana's Bayou. This is another premium New Orleans themed watering hole that requires additional purchase, and just like Ursula's bubble tea shop, if it wasn't premium, everyone would be drowning in moonshine. Just like any other new pubs or watering holes that I come across, I like to savor their very own house blend, and there's no better way than having it from the tap. Best part is, it comes with tidbits that perfectly pairs with this light, crisp lager. Beer is good, but the ambience is better. The yellow lit bar counter gives you a sense of tranquility as you watch the bartenders go about their night counting and moving bottles. The ebb and flow of this place is very relaxing. Today is our third and final full day on the cruise, and I'm making the most out of it by waking up early to be the resident Tinkerbell for some pixie dusting. After dropping off random goodies in a couple of stateroom bags, I returned for a much-awaited breakfast in bed experience. This is the in-room dining experience, and there's various offerings throughout different times of the day, and since we're in the early hours of the morning, we get continental breakfast. You can never go wrong with a plate of Danish and croissant. Especially the croissant, it's exceptionally crispy and soft, and I believe they sourced some of the best salted butter. These Rennie Picot butter slabs are the real deal. Don't sleep on the honey, they can easily be missed out once set aside. These are really good for dipping pastries. The fruit bowls have a good mix, a little bit too intense on the citrus for an early morning, but I guess it's meant to kick you out of bed. Forget about the cereal, the milk cap stole the show. I love how the colors pop out and randomly shuffling them will cause someone an explosive diarrhea, granting they're lactose intolerant of course. Overall, the in-room dining continental breakfast is okay, but if you're up for a wider spread, you gotta get out of bed early and slug it out with the rest at the open breakfast buffet. As we got our energy boost from breakfast, we didn't give it a second thought and jumped right into a Zumba session with the Disney crew. After some insane moves on the dance floor, we end up hungry again, and Grandma Tala's is just waiting around the corner. Grandma Tala's is a Moana-themed quick service resto that serves Hainanese chicken. What's going on? So I guess we're not getting any authentic Polynesian Hawaiian cuisine, as there's no spam in sight, just your typical Asian fusion dishes. saucy meat and vegetables with a side of tofu. I'm hungry again. Let's eat. The fusion leans towards more of the Southeast Asian dishes, such as Malaysian coconut rice and buttermilk fried chicken. They're pretty authentic in terms of taste and texture. Fries is definitely an all-rounder. If the food here is not your thing, there's always fries. Tala's kitchen is definitely a good spot to hang around. The place is bright and islandy, and it's a good quick way to fill an empty belly. As we approach our third night for the last rotational dining, we were given a hint prior night from the crew that this is one of the major venues in the cruise, and that made me excited for a grandiose dinner event. We're starting dinner early at sundown, and this is the Hollywood Spotlight Club. The ocean view is phenomenal. This club is all about Hollywood's golden age, the glamorous 1930s supper club, but with contemporary lighting fixtures. Not gonna lie, I was more fascinated with the glowing pillars than the performance. While dinner service is just around the corner, Mickey comes by the table to give us high fives. Move along, Mickey. I'm hungry. Let's eat. We're in for a 3-course meal service, starting off with the small plates. Highly recommend this to be your opener. The seared edges on the tuna creates a unique contrasting flavor to the sashimi center. If you're expecting duck leg, you'd be a bit disappointed. This is more of a duck burrito, but it's still good though. Definitely not a canned soup, it's the real deal. Just don't stuff yourself with it, there's more food ahead. This is the umami starter. The dashi is definitely what's holding everything together. A very well balanced dish of salty cold cuts, milky cheese, and citrus from the orange. It's refreshing. Time for entrees. What better way to start immediately with the best dish of the night? If I could turn back time, I would just get 5 plates of these and call it a night. It's cooked perfectly all the way from the doneness, juiciness, stovetop crust to the right thickness. Coming right out of the gates from filet mignon, this is the polar opposite, a vegetarian dish. The flavors seep into the risotto very well. I'm completely baffled with the soup. It tastes like coconut cream curry instead of the supposed sour and spicy. I'd give this a strong pass until they work on the correct soup base. Good fish with great avocado salsa. A very heavy Indian cuisine, heavy in the yogurt and sauces department as well as the carbs. This will make you snooze midway through the course. Here comes the sweet part. A unique fusion for creme brulee. Instead of leaning heavily on the caramel side of things, this one's on ube, the root crop of Southeast Asia. This definitely stands out. Thinking about Chili's lava cake? This is Disney's version, with a side of matcha instead of vanilla. Now this is Michelin level plating right here. The custard is great, but the presentation exceeds expectation. A fancy way to end the meal. The magical thing about Hollywood Spotlight Club is seeing the wide open sea while the sun sets over the horizon, which creates a magical amber hue across the room. The meal is definitely way better than Enchanted Summer, with the bonus of Disney characters swinging by to give out high fives. While I don't really feel immersed in the glamorous 1930s vibes, the sunset golden hour made up for all of it. As the cruise is coming to an end, a bittersweet feeling lingers, but who cares about feeling when we're all about eating? I'm definitely gonna eat these feelings, and we're heading to the upper deck for the last hurrah on pizza. This is Pizza Planet. It's tucked away in a corner around the pool area, and I'd say they make the best dough in the entire cruise ship. Not even the best of the rotational dining spots comes close. Even with just 2 kinds of pizza, we've been here every single night. With all that said, Cowabunga, it's pizza time. The dough is so soft and chewy, it's as close as you can get to a New York style crust pizza. The cheeses are perfectly melted and crusted up in just the right places. With so many people still hanging around this pizza joint, I guess everybody had the same idea of eating their feelings on the final night. And that's a wrap for our culinary journey on this voyage. There's still a sizable number of hidden gems and secret speakeasy support that I probably missed out on. They even have an onboard cinema. Not to mention the rotational dining that keeps you coming back for another cruise to cover all the different dining spots. But that'll be another adventure for another time. Thanks for sticking around. I hope this journey gives you a rough idea on what the food is like on a Singapore Disney Adventure cruise. And I'll catch you on the next one.